So as Brian said at the beginning,
Nice, right?
our reflection today is on time for putting trust in small things. So my humorous contribution this morning is 3 small jokes. I couldn't find a story that would match that theme. Is it okay that we go with just 3 short jokes? Okay. Now they're not to everyone's taste, so you're forewarned. What's the difference between roast beef and pea soup? Anyone can roast beef. Where do you find a dog with no legs? Where you left him. And why do gorillas have big nostrils? Because they have big fingers. So that's the contribution for this morning. Isn't life an absolute miracle when you think of it? And I'm sure, this being the Novena of St. Gerard Majella, many of you are here because of life. Life that you prayed for, or life that you're thankful for. But just thinking about life, that a tiny little sperm and a tiny little egg, neither of which we can see with our eyes, only using very powerful microscopes, at some point in time, they came together and fused and grew into you and into me. That's amazing. And then when you think about the Earth, this planet that we live on, and how it is made, you'll know that it's at a slant. It doesn't sit the same way that all the other planets do. That slant, that slight tilt in the Earth, is the reason we have seasons. It's the reason we have the North Pole and the South Pole. If that was changed, that slant, even in the slightest bit, it's likely that all life on Earth would end. It's so important. Do any of you watch CSI? I'm sure some of you do. Some of you budding detectives. For those of you who don't know what it is, it's a television program. It means crime scene investigation. And it's where police forensics experts go and search on a crime scene for the smallest pieces of evidence. Maybe a human hair, or a fingerprint, or even a small speck of blood. Those tiny little pieces of evidence make all the difference as to whether these police do their job, get the evidence and convict the criminal. It's the smallest pieces of evidence that make all the difference for them. If Jesus were walking the earth today, looking for evidence of the kingdom of God, I think it's the smallest pieces of evidence that he'd be looking for. The mustard seeds. For Jesus, I think it's not the huge things. It's not the churches that we build. It's not even the novenas that we come to, important as they are. For Jesus, it's the small little things that matter. The kind gestures, the nice words that we share with each other, the little risks that we take in faith. And it's what God does with them. What we give is very small, and what God does with them is great. I remember when I was about 10 or 11, I was living in a part of Belfast that was a bit rough. And all of the families in my street were Catholic, except one family. They were Jehovah's Witnesses. I was quite friendly with the 2 youngest boys in the family. We would have played together in the street and in each other's houses. I also noticed that a couple of times a week, friends of their parents would come to the house to have a meeting. They'd read, they'd study, and they'd pray together. And one time they invited me to join them, and I was chuffed. But I was a little worried, because I didn't know what